Medway, which is near London. It's named after the River Medway, which is a sort of offshoot of the Thames. And what's really interesting about that geographically is it means it's a shithole. So it's not really London, it's Kent. Have you heard them call it Kent the Garden of England? Have you heard that before? Yeah, well, where I'm from, people go, oh, it's compost heap. Well, you say that, a compost heap is quite useful eventually, isn't it? My bit is more like the bit around the side of your house that you don't really count as your garden, where the bins are. And you've sort of got a sofa that you've been meaning to take to the tip. But, you know, with the bit where I'm specifically from, Rochester, it's actually pretends to be a bit posher than it actually is. So we say, those rats, it's just rewilding. They're a very important part of the ecosystem. How else will the loose chicken bones get removed from the street? So in some ways it was quite a tricky place to grow up. So where I grew up, you were seen as a sort of a little bit of a late bloomer if by 16 you hadn't had your first kid. And so in shame, I took myself northward to get an education like a governess when I was 18. I came to the Midlands to go to university, which is where you find me now. It got out of hand and I did a PhD. It's easier to do by accident than you would think. So my PhD is in feminism. The doors are locked. It's time to talk about periods. It's not really, we're going to talk about femicide. Birmingham, you do know what that means. We're here for a good time. So the thing about doing a PhD is it technically makes you middle class, which isn't really how I identify anymore. And sometimes that means that like people can misread me a little bit. And this happened to me when I got into an Uber recently to go to work. I'd missed the bus, I'm not made of Uber money. So I got into the Uber and the Uber driver was playing like Bashman and Jungle, which you wouldn't thought that I know about, looking at me, but I do, and I was enjoying it. And so I thought, okay, I've got this guy's number. I was like, you're right, bruv, how's it going? We have a really nice time, we're chatting, and then he says, oh, campus, are you a student? I wasn't wearing this mind. I know that this is giving sexy clown more than it's giving ingenue, which is fair because as something of a fag, you can often find me something as a hag. Oh my god. The actual joke's better. As something of a hag, you can often find me near a big top. It's just there. In any case, I realised the jig was up, yeah? So I went, I'm a lecturer in it. And it happened, he reaches down and he changes the radio to Magic FM. It's fucking ABBA playing, and the worst part is I love ABBA, but it's really, really difficult to look hard, sort of bopping to Dancing Queen. So, you know, but I find that the sort of this middle class sensibility comes into play alongside my working class inability to find conflict scary. And it mainly happens on public transport. How many of you, right, Tegan, where are you, babe? You've got a lot to answer for with your fucking TikToks. People don't listen to it with headphones on anymore, do they? Give us a cheer if you hate that. Woo! I'm not going to ask you if you do it because we already fucking know. In any case, I was on this train and a fella sits down next to me and is scrolling his TikTok. Watch this dog save a squirrel. Get ready with me for the gym. The thing about females. The spirit of Dame Maggie Smith moved through me. She said, that is uncouth. So I gave him a withering look. Now normally that shuts people up. Not this guy. I didn't realise I had a worthy opponent. So then I felt the spirit of several generations of barmaids and fishwives. You tell him what's going on, babe. You tell him. I says to him, have you got headphones? He goes, no. Worthy opponent. No further explanation. I go, well, mate, you can't do that. We have to live in the world together. And he goes, I can do what I want. So I was like, all right, I know who I am. So you're him, right? I'm me. I did this. He thinks he's got me. He says, do you have headphones? I said, yes. But I can do what I want! I've been Roxanne and that's the red line.